Welcome to another pro game recap. This game is the 27th LG Cup, round of 16 between Ke Jie and Shin Minjun. Now, of course, Ke Jie and Shin Minjun played in, I believe, in 25th LG Cup final, and Shin Minjun unexpectedly beat Ke Jie 2-1. So, is Ke Jie going to get a revenge in this game? Well, actually, in this game, you see that Shin Minjun had 3 very clear chances to take a decisive lead. But can Shin Minjun capitalize on that? Let's find out. So Ke Jie is black. He starts with a 3-3 point. So Ke Jie must have done some special prep for this game. Now this fighting up to this here, the fighting looks quite normal, but AI says Ke Jie is a little bit behind, but it's not too bad at this point. Now you see here, Ke Jie is, as black, is putting a lot of pressure on these white stones, but black also has a lot of weaknesses. Look at this corner group; it's very weak. So Ke Jie decides to cut white off, and this is one of the first major mistakes by Ke Jie. At this point, Shin Minjun actually has a chance to take a decisive lead, which is to play this Tetsuji here. Now the meaning of this Tetsuji is that if black decides to block over here, then white's descent here is sente against the corner. So say the corner protects itself, then white can Atari and capture these 2 black stones. So this block doesn't really work for white. So for example, if black plays here, then white doesn't have to descend. White can simply just Atari and just take this 1 stone, and you can save 1 move. If white had played like that, then black would be a little bit behind. So let's see what happened in the game. Shin Minjun Ataris. So basically Shin Minjun didn't see that move, so ended up missing a chance to take a decisive lead. Now, this is another chance that Shin Minjun has to take a decisive lead, but Shin Minjun played under to connect the white groups. Now, actually, AI has and the pros suggested a very, very, very good move, which is to wedge here, and white is not going to connect. White instead Ataris. Now black cannot take because white can just Atari, and now black's dead. So because black cannot take here, black can only go here, and at this point white can just connect, and black will have to take this, and this is much better shape than white connecting under in the real game. And this is another chance that Shin Minjun had to take a decisive lead. But despite that, AI says that Shin Minjun is ahead by quite a bit at this point, but it's really difficult to say because even at about 5% or even 10%, it's still very playable. Now, at this point, a lot of pros and AI suggest that Ke Jie has made a mistake by harneying here. Now, what Ke Jie should have played is this move. Now, apparently, this move is actually sente against this group. Now the idea is that black has this wedge, and at this point, if white protects the Atari here, then black can cut. Now notice that white doesn't really have any eyes down here. So therefore, at this point, white really need to connect, and so therefore, black has this Atari, and white to connect needs to fight this code, which is obviously very bad for white. But instead, Ke Jie didn't notice that this move was sente, or he thought that he could play it later, and he just played over here. This move is big, but it's nowhere near as big as what Shin Minjun plays, which kind of eliminates the black sente and basically have these 2 black stones captured. So at this point, according to AI, Shin Minjun has a very sizable lead. In fact, it was in the closer to 90%. So, but of course, 90% is still playable for top pros. So Ke Jie plays here. I guess one idea here is that this puts pressure on this group and also acts as a ladder breaker for these two stones. So Shin Minjun protects. Now, I guess the idea now is that black can connect back or go further in. And Shin Minjun says, no, I'm going to try to disconnect you. So black has no choice but to go in. And Ke Jie play really beautifully here. Now white cannot cut at this point, because if white did cut, then black has this move. So when white Ataris, black can Atari. White can extend. And this is the right move for white to make. But black can get this move. So this cut point is gone and it's attacking this white group as well. So black completely comes out. This is a success for black. Of course, white can try an Atari here and come out. And in this case, black can just capture this one stone with this jump. So this is a little trap set by Ke Jie for Shin Minjun. Of course, Shin Minjun is not going to fall for that. Plays here. And Ke Jie really needs to live with this black group. And as you progress, we see that Ke Jie has kind of made it back to about even. Now here, Shin Minjun made a big mistake. So the Shin Minjun by playing here is actually a bit slack in that if Shin Minjun had played here, then black doesn't have this cut. And I guess Shin Minjun was worried about something like this cut here, but white can Atari and just Atari. So this black, there's nothing black can do. So playing here is actually much better. So Shin Minjun played here, which allowed Ke Jie to cut. Now you notice that this white group is now not alive, even though this black group is also not alive, but this looks like this black group has more eye shape. So white is definitely a bit weaker, but it's not necessarily going to die. So white play here. Sorry. Now at this point, black has a choice. And looking at Michael Redman's stream and some of the other Chinese commentaries, they said that black can play here, so white lives and black lives. So black's got one eye here and one eye here, so both sides live. But instead, Ke Jie chose to play here. And now actually, before if you want to kill this white group, playing here is obviously wrong because white can block and just connect under. So this is the right way to play, to try and set up a kill for the white group. So you see how now ends up being a ko for the white group. So black played this beautiful ko thread here. Now AI suggests that black can actually give up this corner and just kill this group, and that's actually but bigger. But I guess it's really hard to assess for a human player. So Ke Jie didn't choose that and just kept playing. Now some of Ke Jie's ko threads here is kind of losing points, but because Ke Jie really wants to win this ko, so Ke Jie decided to play some moves that are kind of losing him points. Now at this point, Shin Minjun is already in Bayomi, and Ke Jie thought that this is his chance. Now even though, according to AI, Ke Jie can just keep responding to this ko and keep fighting the ko, eventually Ke Jie will win the ko and take a little bit of a lead in the game. But obviously being human, Ke Jie just may not have the time or can see all the calculate all the code threads. So Ke Jie here decides to make a very risky move, which is to finish off the code. Now this white group is dead, but this black group is also not alive, and white destroys black's eyes. So there's no really eyes for black. So if black connects here, white can just wedge and just destroys the eye. So so this black group is in a precarious situation. Now in fact, if white had played every move after this correctly, black would have died, and so white is actually in a decisive lead at this moment. But can Shin Minjun play all the correct moves and kill this black group? And I guess that's what Ke Jie is betting on, that Shin Minjun, being in Wyoming, is not able to do that. So let's see what happens in the game. Now this is the first trap set by Ke Jie for Shin Minjun. So Shin Minjun actually can't cut. Now black can just play here, which is Sente, and notice that this is Sente. So if white captures this black group, then black can just wedge here. So when white connects, that's a second pair of eyes. So if white really wants to kill at this point, white really have to destroy this eye. And so in which case black can just press. So white have to take this point now, and black can just connect. Now you notice that white actually cannot cut here because black can just Atari, that's gone. So this cut doesn't exist. So if we play like this, then black actually can connect back. So therefore Shin Minjun didn't cut and just played here, which is the right move. And again, Ke Jie just played here. Notice that there's a push through here, and also black can push through here and capture these two white stones. So Shin Minjun again answered correctly by playing here. So now Ke Jie attaches here. Notice now that this white group is not 100% alive. So I think that's what Ke Jie saw when he ignored the code thread, that he can probably read up to here and maybe a bit further. So play here. So that's now, according to the pro commentaries, this move is the losing move for Shin Minjun. So at this point, Shin Minjun should play here to leave less RG for black to exploit. And you see why this move is the wrong move very soon. So after playing this move, Ke Jie finally decides that this is the time to connect. So now this black group is connected but still has no eyes. Now you may be thinking, why doesn't white just play here, but white instead played here instead? Now this is because if white had played here or somewhere else, then you see that this Q9 move, which we said, this move here, the Hane, this P8 move, you can see why it's a mistake, because now black can actually Atari and cut. Now strangely enough, there's no way for white to capture these two black stones, so this white group would now end up in a capturing race with black, and black clearly has more liberties. So therefore white has to play here to protect the cut. And now Ke Jie Ataris and extends. White has no choice but to connect, and black can disconnect. So now this whole white group is completely cut off, and it's in a capturing race with this black group. But Shin Minjun still try to put up a fight here. So Ke Jie has to play here, because otherwise if white Ataris, then this becomes an eye as well. So black has to connect here. Makes this is important, because this will Ke Jie will need to use this to throw in later on. So Atari throws in. And now basically white, in order for white to live, white has to win this code. So let's see what happens in the code. So white decides to finish off the code at this point, which meant that now black stone, which was once dead, is now alive, and it's captured these 2 stones, so this whole black group is now alive. But I guess this black group is now not alive, and that's really what Shin Minjun needs to kill in order to have a chance in this game. So after Ke Jie lives with the group, Shin Minjun decides to resign.